Hello everyone, my name is Wouter Van Den Berg, I work at TNO, and I'm here today to talk for 10 minutes about the challenge of bringing vocabularies to the user instead of getting the users to the vocabularies. I'll show a demo of a way to help the data space participants use shared domain vocabularies when they configure their data space connector. First, how did I get here? Well, by train, but barely. But I'm still happy that I decided to come because we've been working at on semantic interoperability and data space for years now, and I'm really excited to show you how we're bringing those two topics together. But first, to give some context, I would like to use this picture. I think many of you will recognize it. It's a picture from IDS data space, and it's useful to provide some context. I won't go into the details of this picture, but I want to note that the vocabulary hub is in the bottom right. It's very small role, it suggests, and I think the challenge here is to bring this more the vocabulary hub more to where the action is, to the users and to the data exchange. And my demo will show you a way how. So for our demo, we'll start with a short user story. We have data taken from the BD Energy project. It's data from about energy consumption from some kind of water pump in Tilos, Greece. And you can see it's quite simple. The data snippet basically shows two kinds of data: a timestamp and energy consumption expressed in watts. It's a time series. Now, the demo that I will show will show the next steps. First, we will have the required ontologies or vocabularies that describe relevant concepts for the energy domain in our semantic triage platform. It's a vocabulary hub. Then the data provider will pretend to be a data provider who wants to share this data on the data space. And the data provider will visit the web application and will have access to a wizard-like service with which he or she can make his own data model. A simple one, as you can see, because the data is not complicated. The platform then generates, based on the data model that the user makes, generates an API specification which can be used to configure the data space connector, thereby ensuring semantic interoperability, because the API specs are using these vocabularies, these common vocabularies hosted in the vocabulary hub. So that's the context. Now I'll show you the demo. It's demo time. And for that, I will need a browser. Let's see if the sharing keeps working. I think it shares the application and not the screen. Yes. So you can help me with this. Browser. There you go, perfect. So I will show you the sandbox environment we've created for the BD for Energy project. Oh dear, a different layout for treehouse. We have an authentication step. This is optional. Oh, sorry about this. Yeah, no, how do I get the ad? Didn't plan for this. Right, of course. Hang on, we're almost there. Multiple times, actually. All right, we're in. So welcome to the BD for Energy Vocabulary Hub. It's a sandbox environment for the project. And what you can see is a bunch of vocabularies, ontologies in this case. We will use one of them, Saref. These are all imported here. and I've prepared a demo. This is the data model that our imagined user has created. I've prepared it for you. So we can go to this wizard-like functionality. We open the wizard, and this brings us to what I would like to show you. So I've prepared a few things beforehand. I've chosen the relevant ontology already, and I already picked the class in that ontology that we want to base our data model off. There's a class inside of time series, so we have chosen that, and you now see at the left the start of our data model. But we only have the root class until now. So this is the point where the user can click the properties that he or she needs for his data model on the fly. So we're on step 2 already. Now, I don't know if you remember the data snippet, but I saw a few time series with a few data points. So I add that. And I click a data point, and you can see, because in the backend, it traverses the graph via the properties of each class. So now we have these properties as options to add. And now this immediately illustrates the problem with these complex vocabularies. Look at all these choices. So it's not quite easy to use. But we remember we just want a timestamp at the bottom. I found it here. And we needed a value. And if you really paid attention, we also would like to add a unit of measure, of course, because there's a value and there's of course the watts. Now, time series is an array of data points, but each data point has to have a timestamp. It's not optional, so we are changing that. That's fine. The data model is based on the vocabulary, but we can make a more specific version of it. And we can also change the names here. It's just a timestamp, and here has value can just be value. And here the data point, we can name that just data points, right? And for us to see this on screen, I have to do a refresh real quick. So you can see that the change names are now in the tree. And I think that's in this simple case, we are ready. Our data model is ready. So we can go to the final step of this demo, which is the summary and export. Now, what it does is it takes this data model that we specified and it generates schemas that we can use for our API. We can choose whether that's XML schemas or JSON, and within JSON even YAML. And there's a thing called RML mapping. I won't go into that, but for those who are familiar, we generate that as well to transform it back to triples again. Now to show you the value of this, let me go to editor.swagger, say that we built an open API test. IO, is it right? Yeah, it's IO. Just to illustrate what we have now, I'm going to cheat a little bit because I prepared a very, very simple API spec beforehand. Oh, simple spec for a demo. It just says, well, you can do a GET request here. So this is not part of the wizard, of course. But the point is, we don't have the schema, and that's the part we have generated now. So we go back to the generation step. We take this schema in YAML. We copy it. And we added a schema to our open API specification. There's an indent issue here. We fix that. There you go. So now what do we have here? We have a simple open API specification for an energy consumption time series using a schema that we based on a common vocabulary on SADR. So we've achieved significant semantic interoperability here. Now, actually, I would like to go back to my slide to finish this talk. I think, because this is Teams, I think I can do that by myself here. Thank you, Martin. So what we've seen is, I would like to make a point as a conclusion. It doesn't really matter what the data is, right? This is a simple case. It can be from a different domain. The vocabularies can be on a different domain. It can be much more complex. The same principles apply. Actually, we've tested this also with another domain with much more complex messages. The point is this, that if we want to achieve semantic interoperability in data spaces, we need to make it easier for users to to adopt these rather complex ontologies. And I think this is one of the ways that the vocabulary hub can make a difference. Thank you.